We have already built many things, but we still don't have a house that could be on the water and float. It has long been our dream to fish while essentially staying at home and not fearing the onset of night. To make our dream come true, we developed a step-by-step construction plan in advance, consisting of 4 difficult stages. The first stage is the construction of a floating platform, or in simpler terms, the foundation for a house on the water. This time, a trailer with a large amount of materials is attached to the Neva. From it, we take 6 pine boards, which are well dried and therefore very light, which plays an important role in the construction of a floating house. The platform will be 3 meters long and 2 meters 10 centimeters wide. We mark the material and cut it to size with a handsaw. Since the boards are completely dry, the saw can cut through them in just a few strokes. Now we have pieces of the right length. We use several types of fasteners to connect the boards together. We attach a shorter board to the 3-meter board and connect them using a screwdriver and long self-tapping screws with a 10mm head, which are much more reliable than ordinary ones. Then we attach another 3-meter board and fix it just as securely. After that, we screw on the short board and get a rectangle. However, the structure turned out to be rather unstable. To eliminate the wobble and strengthen the future platform, we insert a board into the rectangle and fix it as a strut. We attach another one just like it. And to make the structure really strong, we take metal corners, attach them to the corners and screw them in with small self-tapping screws. This way, we reinforce each joint, and after installing all the corners, the platform becomes completely monolithic. This part of the platform must be well protected from moisture, as it will be constantly in the water. We will do this right now with rubber paint. Open the bucket, dip the brushes in the paint and apply a generous coat to the wood. We chose gray, as this paint adheres very well to almost any surface, filling in all the voids. After drying, a durable rubber coating forms on the board, which will not allow moisture to soak into the wood, thereby preventing the structure from becoming heavy and the material from rotting. The next thing we need to do is to cover the structure with OSB board, but first we need to sew it to the required size. To do this, we take the generator, start it up, and connect a jigsaw to it. It cuts the OSB along the pre-marked lines with little effort. We would not be able to cut it so evenly by hand, and it would take much longer. We will also protect the boards with the same rubber paint. In this case, it is most convenient to pour it into a tub and apply it with rollers. We cover the side of the OSB that will be in contact with water. When the paint is dry, we turn the boards over with the painted side down, as this is the position in which they need to be attached to the previously made structure. First, we screw in the self-tapping screws around the perimeter. And then attach the OSB to the struts. We ended up with this platform, but it is not yet floating. To make such a platform, we will need plastic barrels. We took 6 of them, each with a volume of 75 liters. And according to our calculations, this number of barrels should keep about 450 kilograms afloat. But attaching them directly to the platform would be a serious mistake. If you immerse a barrel in water and squeeze it, bubbles will start to come out, which which indicates that it is not airtight. Therefore, before attaching the barrels to the platform, they must be made completely airtight. Unscrew all the caps. Take some anti-silicone, apply it to rags, and degrease the threaded connections. Then take a moisture-resistant sealant and apply it first to the threads of the barrels. And then to the caps. After that, screw each barrel tightly. Check for leaks after all the manipulations. Now the barrel does not leak anything. Place the barrel on the platform and mark 4 places around it for fastening. Since there are 6 barrels in total, repeat this action 5 more times. Make oblong holes at these marked spots. First, use a screwdriver and a large drill bit to drill several regular holes, then ream them to the desired shape. Repeat for each mark. Fortunately, OSB board is a very soft material and preparing the holes is not difficult. The holes are ready. To secure the barrels to the platform, we will use tie-downs, such as those used to secure cargo on vehicles. Turn the platform over and thread the tie-down straps through all the holes. Place the first barrel and secure it to the platform with straps. Secure all the others in the same way, tightening the straps so that the barrels do not float away. Now the platform is buoyant, we can turn it back over and continue building. The OSB board was needed to secure the barrels to the platform, and now we will work on the floor. For this, we take boards of the required size. We place the first one and nail it down with small nails along the edges and in the middle, trying to hit the spacers. Lay the remaining boards in the same way, making sure they fit tightly together. Continue to the very edge of the platform. The floor is almost ready. All that remains is to protect it from moisture. Yacht varnish is best suited for this purpose. It is used to cover decks on yachts. Using brushes, apply a generous coat of varnish to the boards. Rubbing it thoroughly into the wood so that it penetrates deeper and protects it for a long time. In addition to its protective properties, the varnish gives the boards a beautiful warm tone and a pleasant sheen. If we were building a raft, we could finish construction at this point, but since our goal is to build a floating house, we move on to the second stage, creating the frame of the house itself. We will need timber for the frame. Use a jigsaw to cut the bars to the required length. We take two 190 centimeter long beams and screw one 2-meter beam to them. And the second one is 20 centimeters shorter, which will allow us to make a sloping roof later. In the center of the resulting square, we attach two more 184 centimeter beams with a distance of half a meter between them. Between them, we install two partitions, which should result in a detail like this. Build another identical one. Then screw both parts to the floating platform with large self-tapping screws. Connect the frame parts with crossbars and struts. At the back, screw one beam to which two beams are attached vertically using small brackets and self-tapping screws. At the front, we also screw on a crossbar and two vertical beams downwards with a small strut between them. This will be the doorway. Finally, we fix two beams at the top of the frame, which will support the roof. The frame of the house is ready, and we have provided all the necessary openings in it. Eco houses are built using approximately the same technology. The second stage of construction is behind us. Now it's time to move on to the third. Covering the frame and roofing, we screw OSB board scraps to the bottom of the frame. And for the top of the frame, we took light clapboard. We apply the first board to the back wall and fix it with tiny nails. We lay the second one evenly into the lock of the first and nail it in the same way. Working with clapboard is very similar to assembling a puzzle, where you need to select the right pieces to get the finished picture. We sheathe the side walls with clapboard, taking into account the window openings. We also nail the clapboard to the front of the frame. The walls are already standing, but they, like the rest of the wood, need to be protected from moisture. Use a piece of clapboard as a template and carefully go over the edges of the OSB boards at the bottom of the frame, trying not to paint over the clapboard. Paint all the edges with a brush and then roll the OSB with rollers. The lower part of the house will be covered with the rubber paint you are already familiar with, as this part is the most vulnerable and needs to be carefully protected. Paint the OSB inside the house as well. To protect and paint the paneling, we used a wood impregnation similar to the one used in the manufacture of the spear gun. Using brushes, apply the product to the walls on both sides. The paneling will acquire a beautiful walnut shade and insulation from fungi. After the walls, it's time to tackle the roof. We will use profiled sheet metal as roofing material, the same type used to cover real houses. We climb up the ladder, lay the profiled sheet metal, and use roofing screws that match the color of the material to secure it. Securely fasten the profiled sheet metal around the entire perimeter of the frame. The second sheet is laid overlapping the first to prevent leaks, and also carefully fastened. The roof is almost ready. All that remains is to mask the unsightly edges with decorative corners. We screw them on the sides, leaving the front and back without corners so that rainwater can flow freely. The roof turned out pretty well, although we would like a larger visor, so we may increase it in the future. But the roof will definitely not leak, and rain will not be able to get inside. The last stage of construction remains, installing windows and doors, as well as finishing various cosmetic details. We use plexiglass to make the windows, as it is much lighter than ordinary glass and easier to work with. We apply the acrylic sheet to the window opening, press it down with a wooden slat, and secure it with nails. We nail such slats around the entire perimeter of the glass, securely fixing it to the wall. We remove the protective film and the first window is ready. We install the second one using the same principle. The windows fit perfectly into the exterior of the house thanks to the slats, which are painted the same color as the other elements. Now the house is bright and cozy. After installing the windows, we move on to the door. For it we use a wooden shield, which must be covered with the same impregnation as the lining before installation. After the product has been absorbed, we screw on the door hinges and handle. Then we install the door in place. On the inside, we attach a latch so that if necessary, it can be locked from the inside at night. It would be worth masking these unsightly joints. We screw decorative corners to the outer corners of the house, the same ones that were attached to the roof. They perfectly hide the uneven cuts on the paneling. And to mask the joint between the siding and OSB, we nail painted slats as plat bands. The house began to look much neater and more aesthetic. Nothing else catches the eye. It would be a good idea to add a railing to the terrace to prevent accidental falls into the water. To do this, we screw several bars to the terrace using mounting brackets. Then we attach horizontal bars to the posts. We also cover the railing with rubber paint. Now it will be safe to stand on the terrace and fish from it. The construction of the floating house is complete. As far as I'm concerned, our idea has been realized 100%, if not more. The house looks very beautiful. I especially like the combination of colors of the materials. But now comes the most crucial moment. Will our house float or not? Let's find out. Let's be honest, it turned out to be quite heavy, even though we chose the lightest materials. Therefore, we had to add 2 more barrels to the back of the house to keep it from tipping over. It's time to float the house. We carefully push it towards the pond and lower it into the water. The house stays afloat, which is a very good sign. Let's try to climb on it. It easily supports my weight, and even with 2 people on it, it remains afloat. Our dream can be considered realized. The house floats, is quite stable and spacious inside. All that remains is to furnish it, equip it with an engine, and spend 24 hours fishing on it. Subscribe so you don't miss it. See you soon!